Hey everybody, it's Candy Kisses. I do all kinds of girly videos, lifestyle, makeup. But today I'm tackling something that I love. I love movies. I've always loved movies ever since I was a little girl. It was special to go to movies with my mom, with my dad, with my sisters, with my best friends. So many movies have so many special, happy memories attached. And I made a list of my favorite Halloween movies, and it was over 50 movies. So I split them in half. Half of them are funny movies that might have some action adventure in them, and some of them I'll let you know if they're still not safe for children. And then the other half are the scarier movies. And so today we're going to do funny movies. And I hope you enjoy my list. If you like my list, let me know. If you think I missed a movie, let me know. If you disagree with me, I would love to hear your comments, and I will comment back and we can talk movies if you're a movie person just like me. So, the number 22 on my list is a movie that's kind of near and dear to my heart. It's not the greatest movie in the world. It's was a movie that was made to introduce a ride in Hollywood studios at Disney. Hint, hint, hint. And it starred Steven Guttenberg, who, for me, he was big in the 80s, and that's when I grew up, and there were a lot of movies I had fond memories of him, and then he kind of disappeared off the face of the earth, so it was like, oh, it's nice to see him again. And it's Tower of Terror, and it was done by Disney to introduce the ride Tower of Terror, Tower of Terror, and it kind of gives a little bit more of a backdrop to the ride. If you ever want to look it up, it kind of makes even seeing the ride a little bit more interesting and fun, because it adds even more to the story of the lost souls and all of that. And so that's why that is on my list. It's not super spooky. It's a Disney movie, more a family movie. Kids are in it. It's not, it's definitely not like The Exorcist or anything. So yeah, kids can watch that. Okay, number 21. This is a movie I saw as a kid. Loved this movie. And you don't hear anything about it anymore, but we still have the game. And it was inspired by the board game Clue. And it stars Tim Curry, I think. It just had a fabulous cast, and it was really funny. And you're running around trying to figure out this murder mystery, and who did it in what room and with what, and it's a good movie, and it made the game more fun. It made me want to buy the game as a kid and have it. So I think that that's probably one of the best movies from a board game. I don't know though. I kind of like Jumanji too. So anyways, but that's number 20 is another comedy starring somebody that I probably wouldn't recommend her movies anymore. So why do I have this on the list? I don't like her politics, but Death Becomes Her. I love Goldie Hawn though, and Goldie Hawn is absolutely hysterical in this movie. Bruce Willis is in this movie, and then of course Meryl Streep, who supports perverts and pedophiles. So I really don't like her. But if you get a chance to watch the movie, it is hysterical, and it's a really funny movie, and there's some really wickedly funny moments in it. 19, Scooby-Doo. This movie actually is probably only on my list because I grew up watching Scooby-Doo, the TV show, the cartoon. I do think they did a fabulous job recreating the characters and everything, and making, it followed the same kind of script. I think they could have added a little bit more, since it was a movie, and that is my next one. That was 19. 18. This is another movie. When I wrote it down, I was like, do I really want to write this movie down? But it is such a classic. It introduced Reese's Pieces to the world. And it's E.T. I have such mixed feelings about this. As a kid, I loved this movie. I wanted to be Drew Barrymore, with the little pigtails and the movie life and movie star at such a young age and everything. So it's an adorable movie. It's about friendship. It's about love. It's about family. The problem I have is they're really, really mean to each other as a family. And because I guess we were girls, I guess we weren't allowed to be mean to each other. My mother didn't allow it. I have real problems with a lot of movies that every family is so dysfunctional and all the kids are so mean and horrible to each other and hate each other and are disrespectful to their parents. And I just hate that about movies. And I think that this was one of those movies. And there's one scene where I don't know who calls who penis breath, but I remember as a kid it went over my head, or I thought it was funny, but as an adult I was like, what's wrong with you, Mom? Did you just hear what your kid said? Do something. And, the parents are always such lame-os in these movies, and that really does bother me. But the movie itself, there's just some magical moments. So I had to put it on. Okay, 17. This could go either way. It could be considered a scary movie. It's a spoof of a scary movie, but it does have its scary moments. Ali something Landry, I think, is in this one. And it's Final Destination. I really like this movie. I like the whole entire series. I like the one where the people were dying on the roller coaster. I like the one where they, get burned up in a sunbed. There's just some really wicked, weird kind of ways that people die and stuff. And so I think for that, there's suspense in it and stuff like that. I think that, it does get old. I think probably they could have knocked down the number of people that had to die and the ways they had to die, because, by the end, you're kind of like, okay, kill that one off so we can get to the end. But it was a good movie. 16, and now this is near and dear to my heart. This one, another one I watched as a kid, Goonies. Buried Treasure, Underground Caves, Adventure. The guy in it that was, I think Josh Brolin was in it, and I was like, oh my God, he's such a hunk. Pirates. It's just a really good movie. It's just a good mysteries, action, adventure movie. Okay, 15. This is another one. I put it on the funny side. And especially if you do the later version with Colin Farrell, it's really not meant, it doesn't have the humor in it that the original did. I prefer the original. They both have their good points. But it's called Fright Night. The original was with Chris Sarandon as the vampire, and Charlie, and it was enchanting. It was funny. It was engaging. It was scary. All of those things. And then the remake with Colin Farrell is really, really good too. It doesn't quite have the comedy. I don't know. The cast just was, I don't know. It wasn't written that way, but both of them are pretty good versions. Both of them are pretty, have some scary moments, but both of them are really good. 14, Kevin Bacon. Can you guess? Kevin Bacon. Kevin Baker? Kevin Bacon. Can you guess? Do. What kind of Halloween movie did he do? Tremors. With the Graboids. This movie really, I think the other guy in it, his last name is Ward, and it was really funny, and it was really good, and it had, I think, a pretty original monster in it. I think that it's worth its an hour and a half viewing. I think, get some popcorn, get some gummy bears, and go for it, because it's a really, really good movie. Okay, 13. This is a little known movie. I think it's kind of become more of a cult classic. I saw it again very young, and I loved it. It does have a couple holes in the theory. So if you're one of those people that can't suspend disbelief, you might have a problem with it. It was also made, I think, in the 80s, and it might be a little bit dated for some people. But if you grew up in the 80s and you missed it, you might like it, because it's going to bring back that 80s vibe. And that's Night of the Comet. And I don't remember any of the people that are in it, but I do remember that they were in my best friend's soap operas. So they were soap opera stars. It was like, let's get these soap opera stars together and make this B-rated movie. But it's funny, it's scary, it's really, really good. Okay, Night of the Comet. Oh, this is one of my favorites. It has one of my favorite actresses, Emma Stone, in it. Zombieland. I think this movie stands on its own. I haven't seen Zombieland 2, so I have no idea. I can't recommend or not recommend it. But I just think that it's a really good movie. I think if you've missed it, go see it, because it's really, really good. Now, number 11 is super old. This is a movie that you would definitely have to, it's a classic, so you probably can find it, but you might have to do a little work. I don't even know I think it came out in the late 70s, early 80s. I'm not even sure when it came out. I know that, I watched on some kind of rerun, and it's a Gene Wilder film, Mel Brooks movie, and it's called Young Frankenstein. It really is good. It's hysterical. It has Madeline Kahn in it. She's hysterical. Terry Garr is in it. It just really had a really talented cast, and is definitely worth it if you like. It's kind of a spoof of Frankenstein, but it really does follow the story good and make you kind of have that moment. Next one. Growing up as a kid, I watched this TV show, and when they made this movie, I thought there's no way that anybody could be Morticia. But in the Addams Family, it was perfectly cast. Angelica Houston was absolutely amazing. Raul Julia, I believe, was Gomez, and it just was an absolute perfect movie. It just really was. It was really good. It caught all of the nuances of the TV show and just took them to a new level. So if you've never seen it, never caught it, but you, as a kid, maybe you watched The Addams Family on Saturday mornings, reruns or something like that, that is a definite movie to go watch. Now, this is a newer movie, and it's corny, but it was good. It's called Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies. And I thought, oh, really? But it was pretty good. It was pretty good. And, with the zombie resurgence, and that's, the zombies are the new vampires and all that kind of thing. I think that it deserves a look. I laughed. I loved it. So I'm going to just give it what it is. Number 8. We're already, top 10 was The Addams Family. Okay. Hocus Pocus. Oh my God. I went on a double date to see this movie. And I remember this movie so well. I really enjoyed it, even though I wasn't a teen, a youngster anymore. I was probably like 18, 19. And I went and saw this movie. I really enjoyed it. And it was absolutely perfectly cast. Sarah Jessica Parker, I think that's the most beautiful I've ever seen her in a movie. Bette Midler was, just absolutely, she just took that role and just made it her own. Kathy Najimy is always hysterical. It was a perfect combination. You had three actresses who could really sing, so you knew that there was no dubbing and stuff going on when they were doing the singing. And it just was a really, really cute movie. I really enjoy it. I enjoy the spoofs that you even see nowadays. And I'm glad to see that there's still a lot of love for this movie because it really does deserve it. Okay, number 7. Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters. Yes, the original. I don't know why the female version, well, I know why the female version didn't work. The writing was really bad. And I think you had a cast of very talented actresses who had a really bad script. And I think that was their issue and their problem. There were some funny things, but the original Ghostbusters, Rick Moranis, he steals my heart every time he's in a movie. I mean, he's so adorable and funny, and all of the rest of the people. It just was a great movie. It was a great time, great music. That was another problem with the remake, was the music sucked. Okay, number 6. This is another spoof. Shaun of the Dead. When I still quote this movie to this day. I love this movie. I cannot say enough good things about it. Me and my sister Lauren, I remember us sitting on the couch and watching it together and howling and quote, we still quote from that movie about dogs can't look up and some of the arguments that happened in the movie. It had a fantastic cast. It's a really good movie. If you haven't ever caught it, it's so quirky, so funny, so perfect. And it's just one of those movies because, like in the real zombie movies where it's supposed to be really scary, even people go out in the street and, other people are eating each other and stuff, and it takes the person a second, to clue in, but of course it takes them longer because they're not that bright. And it was just flippin' hilarious. It's just a great movie. Okay, number 5. This is another one that I think people should see. I loved it in many, many ways. I believe that the little creature is actually inspired by Shih Tzu dogs, which I love Shih Tzus. But it's also got a really, really sad story inside the story that, because I'm very sensitive to family deaths and stuff like that. I lost my parents very young. That part, I wish they would have just totally left out. I think it could have still been a really good movie, and it's called Gremlins. It's a really good movie, really funny. I think the little, I can't think of the name, but I swear to God, that was inspired by a Shih Tzu. So, have to recommend this. Next one. Okay, now we're in the top 4. Number 4. Dun, 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 dun. Pirates of the Caribbean 1. Pirates of the Caribbean 1 was a really good ghost story. I don't care what anybody else has to say. Pirates of the Caribbean was a really good ghost story. And it's funny, it's quirky. Johnny Depp is amazing when he created the character. I'm not crazy about the series and some of the movies that came after. I wouldn't recommend all of them. But the original movie, especially when she is on the ghost ship and discovers that she's on a true ghost ship, that was really good. That is probably some of the best cinematic whatever that, so I would definitely recommend that movie if you haven't seen it for whatever reason. So, number 3. Don't say his name. Beetlejuice. Oh my God. And what is surprising to me is when I was making up both these lists, or when I was making up the original one list that I had to chop into two, what surprised me is some of these movies are not on anybody's like top 50 or top 40 or top 10, or some of the movies that I like don't make the cut. In fact, I looked up my number one for scary movies, and it's like not on anybody's list. Nobody. I went through like 10 lists. Nobody named it, but I love it. So that will be tomorrow. But anyways, Beetlejuice was an absolute genius movie. Winona Ryder, Gina Davis, Alec Baldwin, and Michael Keaton. It just, I mean, it's funny. It's satire. It's really, really good, and it's really, really weird, but it's a good movie. Whoever wrote that movie, sick mind, but really good. Number two. Okay, you could probably say that I kind of like Johnny Depp movies because Pirates of the Caribbean was number 4, and now number 2, Sleepy Hollow. I freaking love that movie with Christina Ricci. I think she was absolutely beautiful as a blonde. I love that movie. I think it's funny. I can still watch it. I still like it. I can watch it every year and still get something out of it and not be like, I don't think I need to see that anymore. So it's a really, really good ghost tale. I think if you're my age or a little bit older, you might have grown up watching the Walt Disney Sleepy Hollow series, Sleepy Hollow movie that was a cartoon that I watched it in school. I mean, they played it in school for us. So it was and then we read the story of Sleepy Hollow. And so if you're my age or a little bit or much older or tiny bit younger, you might even remember watching the Disney one. So watching the Disney one, there are some callbacks to that one. And you get it. You really, really get it. I'm sure that Tim Burton is much older than me, but I'm sure that he's at least a child of the 50s. So because I think that's when Disney did it, in the 50s or the 60s, and they just kept playing it every year in schools when you had to read Sleepy Hollow. So it's a really, really good movie. It's cinematically, the costumes are absolutely gorgeous in that movie. I don't know if that costume designer got any awards, but she definitely deserved it, especially for the black and white dress that is worn by, the blonde. I can't think of her name. Not Christina Ricci, but the other lady. But anyways, number 1. Can you guess it? Can you think of it? What haven't I named that has some funny things? It's based on a classic movie. In fact, I would definitely recommend, if you've never watched The Werewolf, the original Dracula from like the 1930s, and the other one, The Mummy. If you watched them if you've ever had a chance to watch any of those, my favorite remake of all times is The Mummy with Brendan Fraser. I adore Brendan Fraser. I think he's sexy. And Rachel Weisz was perfect. It was just another movie that you couldn't have picked more perfect people to play the characters. And so I think that is an important element. But it's just the story, the way they told the story, the way they, and it's just, and Brendan Fraser's funny. The man cannot pick good movies all the time. He's probably done like 5 good movies in his whole career because he picks really bad things a lot of times to be in. But when he picks one good, he does pick a good one. And I like the whole franchise. I like the second Mummy. I like the third Mummy, even though Rachel Weisz, by that time I think she'd been an Oscar nominee, so she thought she was too good to do those kind of movies anymore. But even that one was really, really good with the Chinese Emperor as the Mummy. That it gave it a whole new spin, and I really enjoyed that too. So that is it. That's my top. Top 5 are Gremlins, Beetlejuice, Pirates of the Caribbean, Sleepy Hollow, and The Mummy. So tell me what your top 5 is. I would like to know. Tell me what you think of my list. Are there any movies on here you're like, you are so crazy for saying that's a good movie, and how can you recommend this movie? Or I really love that movie. I'm so glad too, and it takes me back to this or that memory. Because I think that for me especially, movies bring back memories. Like, for example, I'll tell you the Addams Family, and this is kind of a sad memory. My dad had died, and we decided to go to the movies to just, like, because we were so numb and so sad, and we just wanted to just not think for an hour and a half about how sad we were. And we went, we saw the movie, and Angelica Houston wears this, garish, bluey gray eyeshadows. And at that point in time, my sister loved those colors of eyeshadows. And we were always kind of telling her, Barry, you kind of look like you want to be Morticia, or you look like you wanted to be a vampire, Stop wearing those colors of eyeshadows. And so we're all watching that movie. We're all watching the movie, and all of a sudden it dawns on me, and I said, no, Barry, that is not a good eyeshadow look. And my sister Lauren starts laughing because she had it in her head to say that to my sister Barry. My mom starts laughing for the same reason. And Barry starts laughing because she was, I was just thinking, I love how she did her eyes. So, and I have that memory from that movie, so it makes it special to me. And it was a moment when, at the worst time in our life, we had a good laugh. And so it just has a good memory. And I mean, there's so many other memories. A lot of these movies I saw with my best friend, Tina Schoberg, who won't talk to me now, but and I didn't even do anything that bad to be, like, not talk to folks if we ever go into that story. But anyways, movies to me have attachments, they have emotions, they bring back memories of people and friends and loved ones and family and good moments in my life. And so I just think that they're important, and it's good to share them, and it's good to have those moments, and it's good to have those things that you can laugh about and share with people. And I hope you have those too. And I hope you have a blessed night. I hope you have a blessed day, whether you're watching this day or night. If you like me, please subscribe. I'll be doing more movie videos. I'll be doing all kinds of life videos, lifestyle videos, makeup videos. I got Victoria's Secret back there. I don't have anything to tease you with. I should put something to tease you with. But anyways, you have a great day. Bye.